All right. I'm saying we're probably gonna start with the game behind me, right? With the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Even wore your homage shirt today. So did I. Didn't work out too well. Those shirts are jinxed. I'm starting to think.
Such high hopes for us.
I
Fucking
guess homage is never gonna sponsor this show.
homage, what the hell, man? Dope ass shirt, but come on, man. Your teams,
Oh.
your teams don't win if you rep their gear. Your teams won't win.
All right. Let's get into this so you can talk about your feelings. Welcome everyone. It's the post game show, week 10.
Yes, sir.
All right, making sure I'm on the right. It's cold back here. It's cold out here in Lambeau. Coming to you live from the Great Tundra. They have great beer out here, though. I will say, Tony, talk about the game. I told you so. Is all I want to say. That's it. That's my only game analysis.
Would you like to coach the Cowboys? You look better than Coach McCarthy right now. I think it got so
Uh,
cold there, his brain fucking short circuited. Cowboys had that game 28-14. Packers were dead in the water. They let their freaking foot off their throats. I hate you, Aaron Rodgers. He has not thrown 3 touchdowns in a game all season. He threw 3 touchdowns in the game today. I fucking hate this team. I hate this guy. This team should be done for. The Cowboys should have won this game so many times. Fuck the refs. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. I hate this man. Why won't the football gods just let me be happy and let me have this? Let me have this, God. Why? Why? I want answers, Chris. I want answers.
I tried to warn you. I tried to ease you down gently. Because I told you. I was like, Tony, and he'll play this back on the NFL show, week 11. But I said it was going to be a weird game, Tony. It was a weird game. Um, just Dak didn't look right. Your defense definitely didn't look right. Guys couldn't stop run to save your life. Um, what was that guy's name? Christian Watson. Probably should have covered that guy.
I'm
And
bad.
even Aaron Rodgers, or no, the other Rodgers guy, tried to give a cough the ball up yet again. Their kick returner. And
Let him
still,
off the hook.
but I told you, it was a weird game. You guys were up at 14 at one point, looking like this game was wrapping up. Nope. Sorry.
Like you said, they got a call from Fox and CBS. No one's watching Rams and Cardinals. They have backup quarterbacks in. You need to make this game interesting, guys.
Honestly, some of those calls there at the end, they make me wonder if those calls do come through. So like the refs definitely extending that game a little bit with some just calls that they don't usually call at the end. They don't usually call those types of holds at the end of games. So yeah, I'm with you there. It's weird. But I told you so. So Tony, what game you want to talk about next? I can't move any of my technology in front of me.
The other good game.
Tell me about the games today, Tony. While I sit back and drink this delicious beer and warm up.
Somehow the Minnesota Vikings lost and won and then lost and then yet won again against the Bills today in an
Ah,
incredible,
yes. Speaking
incredible.
of clips that Tony will most likely pull from other shows, I said there's no way in hell Kirk Cousins goes into Buffalo and wins a game.
See, you got to take everything we say with that grain of salt. So when he's telling me about the Cowboys' weird game, and then Kirk Cousins it like cancels each other out, it cancels it out, it cancels it out here.
Bills, I don't know what you're doing. We talked about it. You have some flaws with that team. Josh Allen, not an MVP contender at this point. And Bills looking like they're gonna lose the division, which we'll talk about that as well. Dolphins leading the AFC East, which I predicted, and everyone laughed at me like, Never gonna happen. Well, here they are. Here they are. In November. In November, the Dolphins are leading the AFC East. Tony, what sayest thou about
It
the Finns?
it sounds like we need to hire someone to continue to go pull old clips since Chris Billings just wants to talk about and
Let's
refer
have a
back
clip show.
old
Let's just do a
clips.
clip show. All the popular shows do it.
The Dolphins have been impressive. They are on top of the AFC East. I don't know what's going on with Josh Allen and that Bills team. How about that Colts Jeff Sunday team beating the Raiders? Explain that to me. Explain it.
Like we all three of us surprisingly picked the Colts because we just had no faith in the Raiders. But no, usually that's what happens. Teams get fired up and rally behind a new coach when that happens, unless you're the Carolina Panthers. But yeah, like I'm sure they heard everyone talking shit, and Jeff Saturday heard everyone talking shit. So I'm sure he just had everything like tight laced up this week. But also the Raiders stink. Josh McDaniels is not a good coach. Broncos country, much to I wouldn't even say dismay. It was a courtesy. It was a courtesy call of, hey, Raiders Nation, this guy stinks, and you're a rival, and we're telling you this. Don't do it. And they're like, Raiders. And where has that gotten you now? You're just as shit as the Denver Broncos.
I think the Raiders sucking is more of the story. I weren't you accusing me of drinking too early when I said, "Hey, look, they're saying Matt Ryan is going to start for the Colts today," and you're like, "Take the under on the amount of snaps he plays, Tony." We didn't really know what the Colts were doing, so I think it is more that the Raiders are atrocious, and like you said, McDaniel's doesn't know how to
Us
coach.
not knowing what the Colts are doing could be said any of the last 10 weeks.
To clarify, I don't think the Colts have known what they've been doing.
That
The
is
same
seems to be an evergreen statement in the year of our Lord 2022.
What happened to your Broncos today against the Titans? What happened to
I predicted it. Didn't you pick the Broncos, or I think that was a game where all three of us picked the Titans as well,
yeah,
because we
could have
had
been.
no faith in the Broncos. Correct assumption there,
You
but
guys
yeah,
held Derrick Henry though. Derrick Henry did not play well today. You guys held him.
no, the defense played well. You still only held the Titans to 17, which has been the defense's MO all year of basically keeping teams under 20 points, and the Broncos got a 10-point lead and they just held that 10 points. That's all they scored in that game. And so yeah, that offense is just it's shit. The play calling shit. Russell Wilson doesn't look good, especially coming off of bye week when you prepared for this. So like I think like you got to work with Russell Wilson long term. You got to make it work out with him. So I don't want to put as much blame on him, but at the same time, like you knew this game was coming. Denver media is going to eat him alive because he was in Cabo for the bye week. So good times over here. It's gotten to the point where it's just fan apathy, where they just don't even care. They'd rather just go hang out with their kids or do yard work or I don't know, go talk to their wives at this point. It's that because we certainly can't watch Avalanche or Nuggets games here in Colorado. So yeah, that's what it's resorted to. Lots of outdoor time for people in Colorado and Broncos country. So yeah, we'll just move on. Good job, Titans.
You know who we should move on to, and we know we got to bury him. The Saints fucking are dead. The Saints stink, man. They lost to the Steelers and Kenny Pickett today. Saints are dead. Bury them. Dead. Cannot believe I picked them to win that division.
It's another team only scored 10 points today
It-
in the first half, and that was the last we heard of them.
Dead.
Yeah, I initially picked the Saints in our pick 'em because I was like, I think they have better personnel all around. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they do. Um, so yeah, Saints, you're probably done for, which is weird to say in the division that you're in. That yeah.
Fair, 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 fair. And then your best friend who's like, you know what? I don't want my guy to drink any more beers. Dan Campbell and that Lions team winning again, Chris. Winning again today, taking down that Bears team. Look at him. Look at him drinking. Like, does this count? That doesn't count. That
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't count. Hey, but I no. Aaron
No,
Rodgers didn't get benched today. I did
he
double or
should have been
nothing.
benched. He should have been benched, and this wouldn't have
So,
happened.
but the Lions, I said it though. I don't trust you. I'm never picking you again this season. So I'm still sticking to it. You could go on a run, or you could run the table for the rest of the season. And you know what? I'd give you a clap. I'd be like, good job, Lions. Still not picking you. I'm done. I'm done with you and the Falcons.
Back-to-back wins for that Lions team. They're coming back.
Let's talk about that preseason game that I mentioned in our previous show.
Texans
Chiefs.
Giants.
No, no. Nobody picked the Texans in that game. No one picked the Texans,
That
which
game
is
wasn't real.
also if we would have continued to do our sports bud parlay where you did the parlay of all the teams all three of us selected, we would have won today.
I'm not alone. You can do it too. No one's stopping
You
you.
started the trend, man. You were the torchbearer. But no, Chiefs beat the Jaguars 27-17. Um, like I told you, you thought it was going to be close or a backdoor cover. No, sir. No, sir.
Spread was like 9.5, and it was a 10-point game. It's pretty close.
Hey, Vegas knew what they were doing.
I know they're making calls in. They're making calls. Make the
Um,
game interesting.
let's see. We talked about the Dolphins leading the division. Browns. When's Deshaun Watson coming back?
Next week or a couple weeks.
Oh. Yeah, their season's already fucked. But hey, at least they'll have something exciting to watch, unlike me.
Damn, Nick crushed it in the spreads this week.
Nick killed it this week. Nick,
Living.
his contrarian strategy as of late seems to be working out. So congrats
He's
to
loving,
him.
he's loving life.
He's loving life. All right. So we got Chargers going on right now. Chargers Niners. Last time I checked, Niners were winning that game.
Sounds about right.
And then we have Commanders at Eagles.
Another preseason game.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up Succession that night or something. Never seen it. Heard it's good. Not watching that game. Uh, all right, we'll wrap it up here. We got not much to
Can't get to
say.
number one in the power rankings, Eagles, because we're not going to watch that game on Monday. So you guys are stuck at 2. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm questioning whether or not I should move them up to number one because the Vikings actually look like a pretty decent team. So you never know. Tune in next week, the NFL show, to see my power rankings. Suspense. Is it going to
Oh,
be
what a
Chiefs?
team.
Is it going to be Eagles? Honestly, I don't know right now. I'm indecisive. I'm 50-50, to be perfectly honest with you, because that Vikings team is looking good. They're going to move up in my rankings. Dolphins are going to move up in my rankings. So why not the Eagles, man? All
Vikings are
right.
number 1 in the power rankings. That's what you heard here first. Vikings are number 1.
No, there's no way. No. There's no way I'd ever do that. I'd never do that. Oh, all right. All right. We have a guest in the show.
We got some help up.
Oh, He has a shit interconnection at his house.
Mm.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Tolle, welcome to the show.
What? Vikings #1 in the power rankings is the last thing you missed.
No, I'm not putting the Vikings #1 in the power rankings. I just said it's going to be a toss-up between the Chiefs and the Eagles this week.
Yeah, I don't know how you put Vikings in the power rankings #1.
I wouldn't. I would never do that.
But I
What
keep
do they
thinking
have
they're gonna fold it, and somehow they don't. Like that just blows my mind right now.
Like Vikings, even when they had Brett Favre and they were crushing it, I don't think I would have put them #1 in the power rankings.
What about Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Billings gatekeeping these power rankings?
Honestly, though, just Jefferson got those Moss-like abilities. It's pretty
I
good.
said he was going to be what did I say? He's going to lead the league in receiving yards this year, and Tony would owe me $100, but right now it's Tyreek Hill. So
You goddamn right, it's Tyreek Hill.
Should have made that bet, dude. You should have made that bet.
Oh, lots of lost bets on the show here tonight. So
Yeah.
what's up? What's up, Josh? Tell us what your thoughts are on the NFL week 10. I'm just over here and drinking a beer, keeping warm.
Oh yeah, no, I got one. Well, obviously Broncos suck. I think that is where to start. Vikings are unreal. Bills with an injured Allen still look good. I still think they're right up there with the Chiefs as the two best teams, and then obviously adding the Eagles. So we'll see what they do tomorrow night. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously tonight's game is going to be huge between the 49ers and Chargers to see what happens. I think San Diego wins this game, or Los Angeles, whatever their name is. I think they win. I think a lot of people are sleeping on because of the injuries that they have. I just feel like they're due for an upset right now. And then I think with the Raiders, how do you keep Josh McDaniels? Do you go with the fact that he's been close in like the last 6 games? So, hey, we're a competitive team. We're just not pulling it out. Or do you just pull the plug on him like the Broncos might do here soon on Nathaniel Hackett?
Whoever wins that game, right?
That's a very good call.
That game very well could determine it. My personal prediction would be, if I'm looking into the glass ball right now, is that Mark Davis he's been known to be a loyal guy over the years. I think he keeps Josh McDaniels. I think the plan right now is, all right, you're going to have one more year with a different quarterback to see how you do, and they're going to let Derek Carr go, like I've been saying on the show forever, of set him free. Let Derek Carr free.
What do the Raiders do? So they let Derek Carr go, because look at what happened with Josh McDaniels and Jay Cutler. You think, say, obviously the biggest name free agent that come about, right, would be Lamar Jackson. How does that work with Lamar Jackson and Josh McDaniels?
They're not going to get Lamar Jackson. They either need to get somebody in the draft, or it's going to be like a almost like a glorified backup.
I just think Josh McDaniels can't coach in terms of head coach.
I agree there.
He can prove that, but he's not a leader of men, as they say in the NFL. And I think that's his biggest downfall. He does not relate to the players, or if he does it in a negative way, and he very much rules by fear instead of trying to bring the team together.
Well, I honestly wonder if Bill Belichick, he coaches up his coordinators to be the assholes on the team, and they carry that through to being a head coach, because they don't ever connect with players, really, any of them. I mean, honestly, even to one that we heard was connecting well with players, turns out he wasn't. Brian Flores. So,
I don't know. You have Brian Dable, and then you have Mike Vrabel. Those guys came through the Belichick train too as coordinators. But I think there is something to this McDaniels not knowing how to coach. He's just like a coordinator. Like he is bad. He doesn't know how to manage the game. Like Chris said, they're going to get rid of Derek Carr. And I don't know what the Broncos are going to do, or the Raiders are going to do with that head coaching situation.
Did you guys already talk about Jeff Saturday getting the win over the Raiders? I mean, I don't think anyone thought he would go in there and get a victory. Yeah, it was 25-20. But still, you think
I
a guy
did.
with no experience.
I did.
We actually all picked against the Raiders. We all picked against the Raiders.
It's just surprising. Like when you bring in a guy who, well, I mean, Frank Wright very much fell on Jim Irsay's sword. So there's also that. But it's going to be interesting to see what Saturday does going forward now with this team. And what they need to do is just hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. Just keep doing that and see what happens through the air. Just make it a dominant rushing team, very much like the Titans are with Derrick Henry.
I'm skeptical of this team. Skeptical of Jeff Saturday. I think they pulled a little surprise today with Matt Ryan starting. I know that surprised me. And then they're just like smoke and mirrors. And now that all this like good feelings are over, they're gonna play like a real team that knows how to like execute, unlike the Raiders. And I think they're just in over their head.
I think they'll lose some games, yeah, for sure. But Saturday is going to be the coach next season.
Chris, what is with your look right now, man?
I'm freezing. I'm out here in Lambeau, man. I was out here for the watching the Cowboys lose. It's chilly out here in the
Alright,
frozen tundra.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
My
Yeah,
new head
man.
coach right there, dude. Look at him. I want him.
I don't know why you didn't put the hat under the earmuffs, but whatever. You do
Like-
you, bud. You do you.
Like Tony said, it's like the new concussion helmets, man.
Yeah, that is the best way to look at it. That or you're like live like action South Park character.
Yeah,
Josh,
I'll take it.
you still mad at the Cowboys for not kicking this field goal, Josh?
I still think it was dumb of them. You're in overtime. You kick the field goal. You guarantee yourself. You're 90% guarantee yourself 3 points. You kick the ball off. You push the Packers back to say the 25, unless they return it, which still is probably going to be around the 25. And then you make Aaron Rodgers go 75 yards as opposed to 65 or as opposed to 58, like we were arguing about in the text messaging. I think you take the 3 points no matter what to give yourself a chance for a tie, as opposed to give Aaron Rodgers the ball back like they did when you don't convert the fourth down. Because what that also does is it gives them momentum going forward when they get a big stop on fourth down like they did. And then they just run the ball. And then, of course, the defense falls down. And Lazard does one good thing all game and scampers down the field. And then all the Packers have to do is essentially run the ball once, down it, and send Mason Crosby out. I think they made the big mistake of not kicking a 52-yarder. It's a very makeable kick in the NFL. It's not like it was 57 or 59 yards. I think you go, you kick the field goal, let your defense play, see what happens. I mean, you got Michael Parsons out there. Like, that's the big thing.
Going for that fourth down was dumb as well.
I don't know. I think the history of the Cowboys game, you guys have seen enough Cowboys games in prime time. I don't really have a lot of confidence in that kicker making that kick from enough games that I've watched from the Cowboys. And if he misses that kick, it's almost game over right there on that spot, Josh. You know, that momentum is going to swing too. And it's going to be like, okay, 2 first downs. And then Crosby's coming out and kicking that field goal. And I have no faith in them making that field goal. Like, it's not like this guy has a history of making these clutch field goals in tough situations or difficult weather or long field goals like that.
Let's say they get a first down, all right? They move the ball up 4 more yards. You still have a 40-something yard field goal. Where would you have been comfortable with him kicking?
Maybe I didn't want the field goal at all, to be honest. I was down for it the whole time because I was like, he is going to miss. He is going to miss this field goal regardless of wherever they got it. Unless it was like at the 15, like I was talking about with Billings, I was like some ridiculous holding call on the one before like the pass interference. And I was just like, all right, whatever. But maybe if they were like there and it was like 35, 40-yard field goal max. But like anything above that, he's gonna miss. It's just too much of a situation. The pressure's too hard. I just didn't have faith in him. I thought he would miss.
Obviously, McCarthy didn't have faith in him either, so that's why they went with it.
He went for it all day on fourth down, so like that was just the game plan, I guess.
Josh, final thought. Broncos. What do you think they're gonna do? What do you think is gonna happen here? You think it's much like the Raiders? It comes down to next week, or
I think they keep playing. Like the question is, all right, you had a bye week, right? You still only scored 10 points. Do you make a switch and make Clint Kubiak the play caller? You have to, I think, do something differently here if you're Hackett and you want to save your
Oh,
job.
I think that ship sailed. Like he should have given away play calling duties before the London game and didn't. So I think that ship sailed for him. Like I think in terms of him like trying to save his ass, like you have some short-term corrective issues that you have to play out. For the Broncos, you have some season corrective issues to play out, and then you have organizational, just long-term issues
His
that
one saving grace might be all the injuries that they have. It's a ridiculous amount of injuries. The fact that 4 players got hurt over the bye week is insane. I think that might be his one saving grace right now. But if there's anything, like obviously you want to see more points go on the board if you're the Broncos, because averaging 10 points and holding teams to like 14 or less is insane with what their defense is doing.
Yeah.
If they average like 18 points a game, I saw it somewhere on Twitter, they'd be 7-2 right now. That's it. 18 points is all they need to be averaging, and they'd be 7-2, one of the best teams in the NFL because of the defense. They need to get these penalties fixed. I think that's another huge thing because that has been absolutely crushing them in games. False starts, holding penalties, just the middle ones, the easy ones that are easy to correct. False starts, offsides, have to end those. PIs, it's tough. Your defense, you're going to get those going against you all the time. But they need to figure out how to stay healthy now more than anything, moving the rest of the way. And if they can do that, maybe they can go on a little short-term run here. And it can start next week with the Raiders.
you're a lot more optimistic than me, talking about runs and stuff.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
Like I think that the way the season's careening right now, like George Payton's job's in trouble right now. Because this
Well, that's
owner,
the thing. That the new ownership didn't hire Payton. They didn't hire Hackett either, so they don't need to keep both of them. It's just the question is, do you want to pay that much money to get rid of these guys, even though you just paid $4.5 billion for a team?
I think they will. I think they will because I think what they're seeing right now this season is it's almost like these shadows or like echoes of like the previous regime, and they're just not liking it. So that's why you're starting to see like the polling going out on Twitter from Broncos Twitter of like, hey, what do you think about our uniforms? And like I've seen like a restructuring of their season ticket plans and all these different things of like, all right, like I think starting next year, it's the rebrand. It's going to be the new uniforms. It's going to hopefully be a new coaching staff, like all these different things that we're going to present, and we're going to say, hey, like we're serious about this team. This is why we bought it. We're here to win. And so like I think that's honestly what the ownership group has in mind and has always had in mind. And so yeah, they have no allegiance to Peyton, to Hackett, and I think they're both probably gone at the end of the season the way this one is gone.
I think the one thing you do need to do is keep Evero. That's it. I don't care how you do it. You have to keep a defense coordinator. And if they do get rid of Hackett, I would have to think he's going to get interviewed for the coach. And then you still move on to the same issue that the Broncos have had ever since they let John Fox go, pretty much, and Gary Kubiak, is it's been all about new coaches who have struggled in their first years, historically, especially with the Broncos, other than obviously you had Fox who had proven himself, Kubiak proven himself in Houston. And then you go back, I think, to Mike Shanahan. He failed with the Raiders, and then he proved himself as a Broncos coach. So I think you look at the history for a majority of coaches, usually they struggle in their first year or their first time around as a head coach, and then they do better the second time. So they need to either trade for Payton or bring in a guy that has head coaching experience. I think that's the only way to do it, unless you give the job to Evero, which I still think is hard to do. But it's going to be hard to fire his buddy Hackett and then say, hey, you want to step up and be the head coach with no experience? Because then you just have another guy with no experience. And if you do that, I think you have to go and get an offensive coordinator that's had success in the league and that's probably been a previous head coach.
Yeah. I think to your point, like Hackett will most likely be saved like till the end of the season just because of injuries. That's the excuse that they'll use, but I think they've made their mind at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go after Sean Payton at this point and be willing to trade away picks to get him.
Well, that's why they went out and got that first round pick. I mean, they
And-
need one no matter what. Even
Yeah.
if they turn around the season, they need one. And what they needed to is get themselves into a top 15 to 20 drafting team. And that's going to be tough to do, at least to get to 20th. I think they could be middle of the road because I can still see them winning 3 or 4 games. I don't think they're going to be a top 10 team, but they're going to be somewhere in that 10 to 20 range.
I agree. All right, Tony, quick final thoughts for us before we wrap this bitch up.
Hear this, everybody.
Great way to close it out, Tony.
Oh man, that was like the Ben Affleck interview. Where did you go? Your
Is
soul
that the
left your
Tony
body.
Parlay symbol in your background, like the bat light?
That's right. That's right. It's calling me. It's calling me. That's my sign right there.
Calling
Right.
you to a losing record this week. All right, everyone. Thanks to Tony Parlay. Thanks to Josh Tolle for the 11th hour appearance to spin the post-game show.
Sports Buds. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.